We know that shoes can be expensive. You can put a lot of money into buying shoes. When's the right time to replace shoes?
Yeah, so it really depends on how you're using the shoes because
Mm,
different shoes will have slightly different wear times. So, like for example, like a running shoe, like you'll want to replace that after a certain amount of miles based off of what that product has basically said to be good for. But in the context of like a cross training shoe for lifting, there are two things that I'll generally want to look at. Number one is the midsole and outsole construction. Now, the midsole is the material that separates the foot from the floor. That's usually like that foamy material or like that nice dense material that you have in your shoes. If at
okay.
any point that is starting to pull away from the sole of the shoe, so it's starting to like come off of the upper, or if it's like starting to like kind of degrade to where when you're training, you can feel it like just a little bit off on maybe one side of the shoe. And this could be from like wearing it out on daily wear, for example. If you wore it out in the rain and like water got into that midsole and it started to like cause it to break down, that would be something to look at. And then on top of that, the outsole. So the midsole and outsole. So the outsole is that layer of material that is on the bottom of the shoe. So that's generally like your rubber outsole that gives you the nice traction in the gym. If you're starting to lose tread on that, that could be a time to warrant replacing that shoe. So, for example, if I have an old shoe that I'm using for CrossFit and my tread is starting to fade in the forefoot, which is pretty common, or around the heel. And so, let's say I'm catching cleans and I start to notice I'm slipping a little bit more. I would probably want to replace that, not in the sense that like it's going to necessarily be instantly bad and you're going to die, but like,
Right.
why chance having your performance hindered at all for something
Yeah.
like that, which could be easily identified and fixed. And then the second thing I look for is, are they comfortable? Is the shoe physically comfortable for your wear sessions? And sometimes you can have the upper breakdown or like the lacing system start to go and you'll start to notice like this shoe's starting to feel a little bit too loose and it's not comfortable to wear for this training context. That would then be a time to replace your shoes. So they don't need to be replaced as I think as many people think, but there are a couple of like construction indicators that can serve as like objective signs as to when you should replace that. And that's based off of solely performance and comfort, because those are the two biggest things that most folks are basically interested in when they are training in the gym.